Good morning once again. We are now on the week 7 in our oral communication class. So this is your teacher, Mrs. Lauren A. Develos. So for this week, we're about to discuss understanding speech context, speech style, speech act, and communicative strategy. After going through this module, you are expected to, number 1, identify the different types of speech context, speech style, speech act, and communicative strategies engaged in by people in various situations. Number 2, explain that a shift in speech context, speech style, speech act, and communicative strategy affects various factors such as language form, interaction duration, relationship of speakers or speaker to audience or receiver of message, roles and responsibilities of the speaker, the message itself and the manner of delivery of the speaker, and the last one is the use effective communicative strategies in a variety of speech situations. For your activity 1, write your response or your answer for each of the following scenarios on the lines provided in each box. Write the answer only in your answer sheet. So this activity can be found on page 7 in your module. So we have to discuss first the factors affected by a shift in speech context, speech style, speech act, and the communicative strategy. So the first one is the language form. So this is the first factor. Under the language form, we have two kinds of language, the formal and then the informal language. So what is the difference between the two? Once we say formal language, these are the language used by the speakers or the speaker in a formal gathering. And while we say informal language, those languages that we uses in communication in everyday of our life. Next, we have the duration of interaction. So, how long does your speech took place? 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes? So, that is what we mean by duration of interaction. Next, number 3, relationship of speaker. Relationship of speaker to whom? Of course, to the listener. Once we say intimate style, it is between girlfriend and boyfriend relationship, between husband and wife, between friends. So those are intimate style. Next, we have the frozen. Once we say frozen, one example of this is the Panatang Makabayan. Those memorize speech. Next, consultative. So you are consulting to a particular person. Casual, our day-to-day ways of communication. And then the last one is the formal. Next, role and responsibility of the speaker. So as a speaker, you have to bear in mind that you have a role and responsibility in delivering your speech to your listener. See to it that you are conveying a message. So it is your responsibility as well as your role that the listener should understand well what you are trying to say to them. Next, we have the message. It means that the content of your speech. Next, we have the delivery. On what way you are going to deliver your speech. We have the extemporaneous, the impromptu, the memorize, and then the manuscript. So once we say extemporaneous, you have the guidelines. Once we say impromptu, sabi nga natin, ora mismo. Once we say memorize, you write the manuscript and you memorize it. And once we say manuscript, while you are delivering the speech, you have a copy of it. Next, communicative competence. In order to achieve communicative competence, we must consider the following: speech context, speech style, speech act, and communicative strategy. So what is speech context? Speech context may be intrapersonal, interpersonal, and public. So what are the difference between the three? Once we say intrapersonal, you are talking to yourself. Making a decision is one example. Next, interpersonal. You are talking to a persons or people, not more than 12 individuals. And once we say public, you are talking in a crowd. So 12 or more persons. Speech style. Speech style has the following types: the intimate, the casual, the consultative, the formal, and frozen. So once we say intimate communication happens between or among family members because they are bound by close affinity. Friends and acquaintances often use casual communication. Consultative means of communication is giving pieces of advice, as in a guidance counselor and the client who needs it. And those activities which are not changeable in nature fall under frozen type of communication. How about speech act? Speech act refers not only to the utterance or the locutionary act, but also to the intention or the illocutionary act, and then the response or other known as perlocutionary act to a specific situation for an intended discourse impact. So, anong pagkakaiba ng tatlo? Once we say locutionary act, the one who is speaking. Illocutionary act, the one that you have said. And once we say perlocutionary act, the response of your listener. The choice of words to use has to be considered to suit the need of the occasion or the kinds of audience to be addressed. This is also done to help express the intention of the speaker and to elicit a response from the listener. So you have to consider your audience before making or writing up the manuscript of your speech so that you can use the word or words which is appropriate to your listener or to your audience. In linguistics, or the scientific study of language, a speech act refers not only to a word or group of words spoken by a person, but also to the action that is elicited from the audience due to the words spoken. So those are the factors that have to be considered. Now, let's watch this video for us or for you to have an idea on how you're going to deliver your speech for the final week of our oral communication class, since that will be my final requirement for you.
So it's 2 weeks from prom and you don't have a date. What are you going to do? Or maybe you have a job interview for that dream job and you really want to win the employer over. But how do you make sure they'll like you? Well, there's actually a very simple solution, and it's called Not Who You Want to Be. Not Who You Want to Be turns you almost instantly into who someone else wants you to be. For those last-minute date fiascos, important job interviews, awkward meet the families, you name it. Now, some may say you should always be who you are, but take it from me, this product can come in handy in a multitude of situations. All you have to do to ace that interview, have the family fall in love with you, or get that date, is simply program the name of the person you're trying to impress into the machine and how long you'll be with them. Then out pops a pill, and within 20 minutes, you'll be their favorite person in the world. This pill carefully works to install a mental filter for those boys who seem to lack one, bring the quiet girl out of her shell, or quiet the incessant talker. Nothing else can make you so instantly pleasing to those people you have to impress for a short period of time. Not Who You Want to Be is recommended by 4 out of 10 marriage counselors and 9 out of 10 mother-in-laws. Not Who You Want to Be is brought to you by Who Would Want to Be You, the family company that's brought you such products as Spanx, hair dye, and concealer. Who Would Want to Be You is turning the expertise they possess in changing your physical exterior into a fantastic product that can change your personality. Just like Spanx and concealer don't actually get rid of that extra chub you've got or that zit you just can't stop thinking about, Not Who You Want to Be doesn't actually change who you are. However, unlike our other products that turn your inner beauty outwards, Not Who You Want to Be turns your outer beauty inwards. After years of laboratory research, careful tests, and extensive studies, you can be sure that Not Who You Want to Be subtly changes your personality but never fails to return you back to normal, so you can be who you want to be after you've had your fill of being not who you want to be. Not who you want to be is not recommended for people with multiple personality disorders. Not who you want to be for when you feel like you're just not good enough. Thank you.
Activity 2. For the directions, perform the learning task in your module, page 13. Write the answer only in your answer sheet. For activity 3, this is just a reminder. Go over again the essay that you have made. The title is The Advantages and Disadvantages of COVID-19. Consider the factors that we have discussed in reviewing your manuscript. So, after reviewing your manuscript, you have to change kung merong kailangang baguhin as long as it follows those factors. Then later on, as you go on discussing topic, especially for the final week, for you to have a good output for your final requirement, which is delivering your speech, go over again your manuscript. So that's all for our week 7. Congratulations, everyone.